Hi Virgo, welcome to your October 2025 tarot reading with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. Check them out for all three so that you know which part of you I resonate with most as a reader. With that said, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So I'm going to pop these to the side and we're going to get into it. So for your key to the month of October, you have currently working on the 2026 goodies, so stay tuned because this year I think you are all going to be very happy with what I'm bringing you. I think you're going to love the way that I've done everything this year, and I'm really excited about it. So yeah, with that said, your key to the month is the Hanged Man. Take it slow, take it steady, take it easy. This is not a month to rush. It's not a month for you to go out of your way to get things done or hammer things home, right? This is a time actually for you to really take it easy. The other thing with the Hanged Man, this is about surrender. So in all of these different areas of life, you are being asked to consider, where is it that I can maybe take my foot off the pedal? Where is it maybe I can, stop putting so much pressure on myself? And where is it that I can really take time to, so you had a jumping card, and your jumping card is the Ace of Wands. Where is it that I can really take some time to get back to what my basal spiritual nature is trying to teach me about the situations that are unfolding in my life? So your actions and options, you've got the Ace of Wands, especially coupled with the Hanged Man. This is a deeply inspirational kind of energy. If you feel the draw to write, to paint, to do something artistic or creative, if you feel the muse speaking to you, right? This is the month to follow that. Whatever ideas come up, whatever bubbles up from your consciousness, whatever, if you wake up at, 3 a.m. humming song lyrics and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't get this song out of my head. Follow that, right? Get up out of your sleep, follow that. Listen to the song in the midnight hours and ask yourself, what is this saying to me at this moment in time? If you feel the need to paint, draw, paint, express. If you feel the need to write, maybe you want to write music instead of singing it. Whatever the case might be, your creative urge this month is deeply spiritually infused, and it's really important that you follow and honor that. When it comes to the options that are available to you, well, it's an ace. Aces are fresh starts, new beginnings. This is a fresh start for joy, pleasure, fun, sexy time as well. It's the Ace of Wands. Hello. This is a very horny energy, I might add. It's not the Knight of Wands, but it's still pretty horny, right? Now you couple this with the Hanged Man, and so the message here is surrender to it. Surrender to those urges. Surrender to those creative and inspirational juices that kind of just bubble up from within you. You might find this month actually that you feel sort of that much more engaged with your own personal muse in some way. For your communications and conversations, you have the Eight of Swords. So when it comes to communication and conversation this month, I really want you to think about, sometimes it's not necessarily what we say, but what we don't that really has the most impact. You can see that, right, in certain lines in certain films where someone calls somebody's name and they turn around and they just look at each other, and it's like they convey so many different emotions and so many things that they want to say but don't say. Sometimes it's like, even with music, actually, speaking of music, sometimes you're, like when you sing the pauses, when you play the pauses as part of the music, as part of the piece. Sometimes when you play with the part where you don't, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I don't know if you ever remember, there's a Busta Rhymes track, and I've forgotten the name of it, circa 2007, 2008, kind of, well, yeah, between 2007 and 2009, there's a Busta Rhymes track, and it was with him and Method Man. It's a brilliant track. And there's this bit in it where, like, you know, sometimes then they do this thing and they stop the music, and whenever the people do that, it's like usually that they stop it and they start it again straight away. But in this track he does it, but he stops the music, he stops the whole track, but he does it for just that little extra bit of a second, and it really makes it like gnarly, right? There's something about the reason I tell you this story is this month, what you don't say, how you don't put yourself forward, how you don't share certain ideas or communicate is going to speak volumes, right? The Eight of Swords can be constriction and confinement, and so in your communication sector, it does suggest maybe you're not overtly communicating, but your body language will be saying a lot, your telepathy will be saying a lot, your mind will be saying a lot, your non-verbal communication will be saying a lot, and you couple this with the Eight of Wands, it's like you're literally channeling everything that you want to say into your creative endeavors, ideas, and directions. When it comes to those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, especially this with the Hanged Man, if you are working on or within a group setting or project, be very careful this month, because you could end up putting so much in of your own time and energy that maybe you get a little bit resentful, because you kind of feel like, well, actually I've put a lot of time, effort and energy into this thing, and actually everybody else has just kind of swanned about, fannying about, doing nothing. Watch out for this, because there's a tendency where it's like you could martyr yourself to a group cause, and it's like you won't say anything, you'll just do it and silently seethe about it later. How is that helpful? Right now, when it comes to those of you that are employed by somebody else, again, similar kind of message this month. What I like, though, is that it's like this creative leaning that you have is your way through, right? You're able to use your muses and your creative expression and creative and artistic expression to eliminate any resentful feelings, or, it's like whatever you feel like you can't say here, you will find a way to say it or express it in a different way. So it's like you don't hold on to it, which is great because you're expressing it, but equally you're not sort of directing the words where they really sort of need to go or would make an impact. So I would say don't martyr yourself at work this month, Virgo. Where you feel something deeply, or you feel like there's something that needs to be said, you might need to say it, right? You might need to, because otherwise you don't affect any change. Otherwise you just continue to have the experience that you're having, right? And if you're okay with that, then cool. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, it's a similar energy, but you might find this month that you're bogged down by something that's happening with or around your employees, if you have them, or people that you work with. I would also say this month kind of feels like, even though you are in the driver's seat or the boss's seat, etc., it's kind of like you're slave to other people's schedules, other people's stuff. It might be one of those moments where you're kind of like, okay, I feel like I'm working for the people that work for me. Like, what the hell is going on? All right, I promise it won't last much more than the month, but you will kind of need to pay attention to this. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, this is a promise that you have already made, and this could be for all Virgos actually. There's a promise or a commitment that you already made some time ago, that unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, you will be held to. You're going to have to show up for this. And it's not because it's like legally binding or anything like that. It's more from like a moral perspective. You made a promise and now you kind of need to show up for that promise. So something to think about here, right? For your love and relations, you have the Daughter of Swords. So this is the Page of Swords in this deck. When it comes to your partner, and so for those of you that are partnered, married, or in a like a long-term commitment, When it comes to the, like, so if your partner is working on something that requires paperwork, documentation, etc., you could be helping them work on that. But again, it's like it's all consuming. Like whatever this thing is, it's like you're having to really focus on it. And it's like, okay, you know, yes, I want to help you. Yes, you're my partner. You're all these things, blah, 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 blah. But also this thing is kind of taking on a mind of its own. It becomes a little bit of a personality, or a bit of a, what's the word? It becomes almost like a bit of a vacuum where it's kind of like sucking all the time, effort and energy that you have into this thing. So watch out for that. When it comes to those of you that are single, if you're texting, if you're, you know, talking to somebody online, etc., my advice to you would be really do get on that FaceTime just to make sure that who you're talking to is who you're talking to. We don't want to be out here in 2025 being catfished. This stuff should not be happening at this point. It really shouldn't. And, you know, I find it really hard, unless you're like really old, you know, like 75, 85, I find it really hard to, I know this is going to sound really horrible, but I find it really hard to feel sorry for people that get catfished in this day and age. Like, especially after the fact that we lived through a pandemic, everybody at this point is glued to their phone, right? If you can't have a FaceTime conversation with somebody that you're talking to online within the first week of meeting them, there's a problem, all right? So come on. Finally, for your money and materials, you've got the universe card. So this is quite literally a universal blessing of some sort that's coming in. I want to say to you as well, for those of you that have been working on a manifestation, for those of you that have been praying for something, for those of you that have been calling something in, especially of a financial nature, it's on its way. The universe is about to deliver. The universe decrees that whatever it is that you've ordered, asked for, waited for, manifested, prayed for, etc., it is quite literally here and is about to land in your lap. What I will say to you is, when this thing arrives, do be mindful of how generous you are. You don't want to set yourself back, right? Now, when it comes to your physical health and vitality, again, if you've had any and all health challenges, this could be where you're having some kind of breakthrough this month and you're seeing things definitely from a broader perspective. When it comes to your home and your environment, if you've been looking for or calling in a new home, a new space, waiting for a place to come to you or to be revealed to you, this is very likely the week for it. Now, before I give you your Human Design Oracle deck card, if you have, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the link in the description box below. You can book an astrology reading, a tarot reading, a numerology reading, or an energy work session, and we can get it cracking. So your jumping card there is the Gate 25 and Innocence. And this is basically to say, don't lose your naivete, right? Even like this is about really not being jaded or allowing the world to make you jaded. Another thing with this as well, it's about, you know, what is innocence about? It's about purity. It's about the purity of the essence that you exude. And so this month, really, it's about you kind of having the experience that you're having, but also being super present in how you experience life. All right, with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.